Shout out, welcome. Shout out to everyone. Welcome to Chasing Purple episode 6. I'm actually taping this from a vehicle because I've been quite a busy lady lately. Normal time. I haven't been able to get it in my normal time. In my usual locations. But I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribes, likes, follows, and shares these vlogs. It means a lot to me that some of y'all actually are interested in what I'm saying. This episode, I wanted to talk to you guys about emotions. Because they're important, and I think a lot of times people are told to push down their emotions, or we have the habit some kind of way, I don't know, male, female, we get this crazy habit that if we box up these emotions inside, that they don't exist anymore. And that's just not true. That's the furthest thing from the truth. As a matter of fact, you box them up inside, and not only do they exist, but they sit in there and they like get hot and they like start cooking and they fester. And I honestly believe that that can correlate to a physical condition over time if you don't deal with it. So mental health is so important, guys. Like, I think culturally I noticed that, at least I'm Blaxican, okay, so I got a little mix going on, but I feel like in my mixed culture, both sides, that, or at least those two sides, that it seems like, you know, therapy and all of this mental health stuff is like mumbo jumbo. You know, just go to church and pray to God and be good. You know what I'm saying? Be all right with your life. Talk to your mama. Talk to your best friend, or whatever the case may be. But going to a therapist and actually dealing with mental health, it seems like it's like some mumbo jumbo. Like, mental health, what is that? Nigga, you got depression. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real ailment, you know, that can fuck you up. Excuse me. It can mess you up, and it can mess up, you know, your relationships. So that's not only affecting you, that's affecting people around you. So I think too, people get out of loss with mental health, where they're like, oh, I got it together. And then, you know, to themselves, they have it together, but their relationships are like, people are looking at them like, I don't know what I'm doing with this person. Like, I don't understand this person. Why is this person being this way? What's going on with this person? How can I help this person? You know, and they don't have a reference point because they don't maybe know that you have a mental illness. So mental health, I feel like, has a lot to do with not being able to manage emotions. I also know that, you know, it's also genetic, hereditary in some senses, and it can be aggravated by diet, lifestyle, and, you know, stress conditions. So I kind of feel like, you know, that not all of them are related to like external conditions, but like with any other medical illness, I feel like that external conditions can actually have an effect on your mental health. You know, cause you to become in a state of depression, or if you already have like a I'm not going to say an affinity for depression, but if you have had dealt with depression in the past, you know, if you experience a death or a major life stressor or a major life event, you know, then that definitely can aggravate that depression. So I feel like there's a couple avenues you could deal with for emotions. I feel like, you know, you could go to therapy. I definitely feel like you could be praying. I don't think that there's anything wrong with finding solace in church, or even a counselor at church, you know, or even a friend. But the most important thing is to not keep it all in. Like, however you get it out, even if you look at therapy, it's like you're just talking about it to a complete stranger who's not judging you, hopefully, or, you know, is somewhat objective. There's value in that. But all of these avenues have the same effect, and that's you getting it out from the inside that box. If you leave all that stuff in that box, then it's going to either eat away from you from the inside out, or it's going to come out at some point. And it might come out not directly at whatever the root cause was. It might be coming out in leaks. You know, it might be coming out in leaks in different directions. And, you know, it's not even anything that is directly related to the actual source of what hurt you, whatever that pain was. But it's going to come out anyway, So I think the important thing is to recognize that it's there, it's in the box, and then to try to work it out, bring it out, however way that makes you feel the most comfortable. You could be writing it down, writing a journal about it. You could be, like I said, praying about it. Just orally praying and bringing it out can also bring a relief. You could be talking to a therapist about it. You could be talking to your friends about it. I mean, be careful who you talk to as far as friends and family, because like I said before, with support is key in the last episode 5, is you can wear another person out that loves you. They love you and they want you to be okay, but if they can't fix your problem, then it puts them in a different position, and it can be a lot. So when you're dealing with MS, oh my gosh, depression is a symptom of MS, and it's also a side effect of a whole lot of medications revolving MS, and it's also a side effect of just having the MS himself. You know what I'm saying? So like the actual immune system can eat away at the nervous system in areas that affect your emotions. So you have things like PBA, pseudobulbar effect, and you have things like depression, 2 totally different things. But you have these things where the MS has affected your emotions from a physiological standpoint, and then you have depression from just whatever you're dealing with the MS, whatever challenges. Like if you can't pull your pants up, or you can't swallow, or if you can't put one foot in front of the other, if you can't just stay awake long enough to get anything done, or if whatever your struggle is with MS, it varies, and that having to deal with that on a repeated basis can also cause a level of depression, that you have to be mindful of, especially if you have MS. And then on top of that, you have the fact that many people take MS drugs. When you go to a neurologist, that's usually one of the choices they give you, and it's almost like, I feel like in some ways you feel like you don't have a choice. Like, well, if I don't take one of these medicines, I'm going to end up like this, or I might end up like that. Well, you might end up like that anyway. Case in point, you might eat a pristine, clean diet for, I don't know, 17, 18 years, or maybe 12, and you might still end up like that. So like, what is the root cause of all this stuff, and what you can do to control it and make it bearable to you remains to be seen. Remains to be proven, because it's seen differently from every person that's dealing with it. So you have to be really careful with dealing with these emotions when you have MS in life, period, because we all have some challenge that we're dealing with. I know I speak to people with MS, but I'm also speaking to people who are living with someone with MS, or loving someone with MS, or any other chronic or terminal disease, or any other chronic or life problem, where it's like you have to deal with these emotions, and it's tough to carry them on your own. You have to seek out some type of other, sometimes you have to. There were points in my life where I struggled. It was just too much. It was too much. I let it go too much, and everything was too much trauma, and I still had to function in my life, and I couldn't. I could, but I was like a zombie, and I honestly don't remember several months, like just a wash. I don't know. My kids could tell me about if I was there. I have no memory. And I hope that I wasn't such a bad parent when I was going through that. I remember just being emotionally just ripped. Like the box had opened and there was a black hole inside the box. And it just was, that's what it was. But luckily, I was able to work through that stuff. But like I said, sometimes you need help. That's my point. You might need help. In that case, I couldn't get the therapy I thought I needed, but I got the medication, and that helped for a period of time. I just kept dealing with it, and I just kept going in myself and making sure I wasn't holding anything. And I had great friends that listened to me, and they listened to me, and they listened to me, and they listened to me until they probably were tired of hearing me saying the same thing over and over again. But the more I got out, the more comfortable I was, and the better I felt over time. And time, you know, once you get stuff out, like if you hold it in, time does nothing for you but make it worse. But if you get it out, time can heal that. You know, holding it in and time going by, you'd be a bitter, resentful, like it's just tight. It's just real tight. You just barely breathe. You're so mad at everything, and it's just tight. That's how it gets. Whew. And thank God we don't have to be in that space. You know, it's a choice, people. So, but like I'm saying, once you start to let that out, the time then works in your favor, because then it's like you're letting it out, you're letting it go, you're forgiving, you're releasing, and time just makes that sweet. It just makes it so sweet over time. It's just almost like, wow, I was in that place. Like when I was talking about it just now, me going back and talking about it, I definitely feel I felt like the emotions of that, you know. It was like I went back and I kind of felt it, and not the extreme of what it was, but you know, if you could probably see, I was feeling it a little bit, you know, just talking about it. But like to know that that was just like that was a tough time for me. So 2 years later, you know, I can smile about it, you know, and get to a conversation, talk about it. It might be a little bit like tender, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna die, you know, talking about it, I'm gonna cry, talking about it, I'm not gonna do all that, because like I did it already, you know. So like once you get it out of something, you gotta get that mess out, find a way to get it out, and it's different for everybody. Some people need art therapy. I remember I did art therapy. That was like pretty much the only therapy I thought was helpful to me personally in my life, hands down, period. You know, so that just getting involved in your craft or your art, whatever it is that you feel like that you can do, is like a therapy in itself. Like the creative arts is therapy in itself. So if you can't afford a therapist, can you afford a coloring book? You know, can you afford some crayons? Like, get to coloring, or get to doing something with your hands, garden, something that is an outlet for you. And when you're in that moment, be in that moment of releasing whatever that is that you have on the inside that is hurting you, that pain. Like, release it, let it go. You know, however you got to do it. You got to figure it out. I know I did. If I can do it, you can. On another note, I encourage you guys to keep eating healthfully. This is my like car snack. It's this stinky dirty carrot. It's not dirty, it's washed, but it's raw. So it's like organic, straight from the farm. It's clean. But that carrot's a lot of chewing, bro. And then I got some sweet peppers. Those are always good. But yeah, maintain your healthy lifestyle, people. Even don't get frustrated with MS either, man. Because look, I tell you, for me, I've been doing this diet. Now I started these herbs, but I've been on these herbs about a month ago. Dr. Sabi, I'll put a link with some information below. But like, I've been doing clean eating for years now, and I still have gotten worse, you know, from the time 3 years ago to now, you know, and I'm out of medication options in my eyes. As far as, at least for now, maybe in a year things might be different for me, but right now, as far as the doctor, you know, we don't see eye to eye. You know, I was on Rituxan this last round, and I'm gonna tell you, it's frustrating because you're on this chemotherapy type drug and you're dealing with the effects of that, which is no picnic, and then you're steady getting worse. Or in my case, I'm steady getting worse, or I was steady getting worse. I'm believing now that I've plateaued, but I've not gotten very much back, you know. So it's, you think that's not frustrating for me? That is like extremely, that's a lot. You know, every day to wake up and still not be able to do basic functions the way I want to. It's frustrating. Like, I want to be out of this chair. I want to be... Sometimes I feel like God put me in this situation so I don't make so many moves. You know, I felt like that when I first got MS. I felt like I got grounded, you know, but I didn't do anything bad. It was just like, you're getting grounded. You just sit your ass down for a little while. That's kind of how I feel, but like, I'm getting real anxious with it. You know, I'm like, I want to do everything that I can do, and I can't do everything that I want to do in the state of this body the way it is. Grateful as I am for my beautiful body. That's just the truth of what it is. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'm not meant to be doing all that. Maybe I'm only supposed to be meant to be doing what I'm doing. So I accept that. So, I mean, like I said, it's ups and downs with the MS. It's ups and downs. You can't expect yourself to go through something like this or even any other illness, you know, because I feel like it will change from day to day for anybody dealing with chronic terminal type shit. You got to give yourself a break, you know, and like compassion. We all need compassion for everyone else, but in some cases, in these cases, you need compassion for yourself. And I don't mean pity, I mean compassion. Like, give yourself some compassion, like, not pity. I'm not on the pity tip. Like, I don't want you to go to a pity party. As a matter of fact, if you find yourself in a pity party, give yourself a time limit. It's okay to go there, just don't make a day event of it. You know, it's not a spa event. You know, a pity party is like a 1-2 hour, you know, 1 hour tops. Because the more time you sit there cycling with that bad emotion and those bad thoughts, you're just projecting that energy out, and that's just more of what you're gonna get back. So like me, I try to put all positive what I can, and at some point, J Karma is gonna get her karma, and things are gonna turn around. Best believe. And you can keep watching and get motivation and inspiration. I hope. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, and come back. I will be doing this again. Hopefully not in so long of a time period, but I'll be back, and I got some more good words to tell you guys, and some more lifestyle tips, and some hacks, and some useful information, hopefully. And I love you. I pray it's all well. Have a great, wonderful rest of your month.